Hi guys, George here, and today I'm going to bring you a live replay of Scenario 14, HazMo Scenario 14. A Sisyphean task takes place in Calavrita, Greece on April 11th, 1948, and it's between the communist and non-communist forces. Um, just briefly, uh, the reason why I'm familiar with Calavrita is because my brother-in-law is from Calavrita, and during the Second World War, I know that the inhabitants at Calavrita incurred war atrocities because of the German Axis forces. Also, after the Second World War, due to the insurgency, the communist insurgency there were atrocities committed there as well. There is a film committed, there is a film that was done uh, with respect to the event that happened during the Second World War. So basically, this scenario is very interesting, and I looked at it and I asked myself, should I wait for a live opponent to play it, or should I play it solo in advance? And the way the scenario is structured and constructed, good design, by the way, Charles Hammond, is in such a way that there are choices to be made by each player. And when you have choices, you can attach a certain element of randomness to it. So you, as a solo player, cannot anticipate all the outcomes as you go through the game. Now, the 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 events that can be randomized may not be optimal, but not knowing in advance what could occur um, makes it suitable for uh, some form of solo play. And now you can talk about player bias, and I have to admit that we're all biased, and humans cannot eliminate bias. But one thought that you can put in your mind to reduce your bias is um, knowing that this scenario might pop up in a tournament match. You want to play to the best of your ability for both sides in order to be able to play it competitively better the next time you encounter it with a live player. Hope that makes sense. Now, a small constructive criticism about the way this scenario card was constructed. I went through the scenario card. I read it to the best of my ability, and at the end of the day, when I was a little bit tired, I was asking myself, where are the victory conditions? Now, first and foremost, I'm used to the MMP cards that explicitly state victory conditions, right? But here we have path to victory. And then I was about to call up Charles and say, hey, this is the first Greek scenario that I'm about to play, and you don't give me victory conditions? What are the victory conditions? And then I noticed that it's just below parity. And you'll note that parity, the font for parity, takes up more real estate than path to victory. So luckily I did not make a fool of myself, and I didn't call Chuck to ask him about the victory conditions. And the victory conditions are for the communists to take 3 or more multi-hex buildings on board 8A. Speaking of the randomness in play, all right, these forces here have to be broken up where they occupy with at least 2 multi-man non-crew counters each of the victory conditions, each of the victory hexes. Of course, you can randomize where each fortification can pop up. Um, and then the other thing here is this force starts hit. I'll show you how I dealt with that one. And then these forces here have to be split into 3 groups, and they can come in from 3 of the 6 road hexes leading into the map board, into the village. Okay, and the ECs are wet. That's important because you're dealing with satchel charges, and satchel charges can ignite wooden buildings. All right. That's a quick overview of the card. Okay, I hope it didn't give too much content away. And when we look at the board, there's one little turnoff that I have as a Greek is that for some reason or another, people in the United States believe, especially ASLers, believe that there are wooden buildings in Greek villages. I can understand a wooden building in Russia, in a dacha in Russia, but not in Greece. Being from a village myself, I can tell you that the Greeks, having inhabited the land for such a long time and used all the forest they could for fuel, most of the buildings may have a wooden rooftop, but the walls are stone, anywhere between 1 to 3 feet thick in certain cases. In 73, when I went to visit my grandmother in Greece at the old village, I was running my hand up the side of the entryway looking for a light switch. There wasn't any light switches there. We were still using candles and oil lamps. And and we had a well inside the house as well, inside the barn, and and everything was made out of stone. You don't want to bang your head to find out if that's a stone wall or a wooden wall. But anywho, it does make for interesting gameplay, like I said before, because the propensity for wood to go on fire and create smoke is high. Now, can I slide over to the forces? Here are the forces. We'll start right away with how we split up the forces and how we randomized everything. So these fellows here are the infiltration force, and they'll be their location will be determined randomly uh, after the Hellenic army uh, sets up. Now the names that I've used, they're completely fictional. We have Mavrakis, Astakos, which means lobster, Pendelis, Nikophoros, Petrakis, and Agirov. Agirov is a Russian, and Levitis. Levitis is a Greek that wants to be a Russian, I suppose. Yeah, when I'm pretty certain there were Russian spies that inspired the resistance movement in Greece, and there were a lot of British spies as well. And the two didn't get along. So after the Hellenic armed forces set up, we determined their location by random selection. And here is the numbers I assigned each location. Location number 4 was the winner. And the reason why I selected these locations is because they would be in a good position to create havoc to one of the groups that are protecting the victory locations. All right. Now, before I go any further, we're 8 minutes into the video. You can view this at 1.5 to 1.75 the speed, and you'll get the same stuff, the same satisfaction, the same enjoyment, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so now we've moved these labels to the road entry hexes and dividing the assault force into 3 groups as per the SSR to see where we will enter. Okay, let me zoom out for a second. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Only 3 out of the 6 locations can be used to for the assault force to enter, and I'm allocating the forces into 3 groups. And location 6 is for the first group. There we go. Then Agirov comes in from the north side of the board, and then I'm lining up all the fortifications and the gun as well, because the gun is another unit that sets up hip. Was I playing really the Hellenic army? I was trying to play both sides, so I wanted that randomized as well. So I have no clue where the infantry gun is. Neither side does until it has a a good shot. And so the north end of the board is where everybody pops up from. And given the clutter on this board, is it beneficial to bring a, a group from the rear to prevent routes? I don't think so. All right, so let's zoom in back into the action, and we're going to begin. Weather was a 3, so the weather wall is insignificant. And let's check to see how everybody's popping up. So we have 1 unit coming in. We're checking for LOS to strip concealment. Ultimately, he is stripped of concealment. Pulos charges up, throws a DC charge on the MMG. Now the MMG is firing back at Pulos, and everybody passes. Believe I may have even done final protective fire. That's why he pinned. And we got all our units up on the board safely, but Petrakis completely exposed himself. Not quite as badly as Rudy Giuliani, but enough to strip concealment. That's how it more or less looks like at the advanced phase. And now, look at this bold and audacious advance. Yeah, this attack here ultimately produced a flame. I'm not too sure if I I put the right factors uh, in there because this should have been wet, moist. -1 to the EC to the flame attack. I may have disregarded it. It didn't make much of a change in the gameplay because every time I rolled for flame, it was a really high roll. It was never marginal. So I'm using this marker to distinguish between a communist and non-communist. Okay, I find that was the only way to reduce confusion. And here you have red for the Greek Democratic Front and blue for the Hellenic Army, which is also the color of the Mitsotakis' current conservative center-right party. Here we have a couple of attacks going on here. This is prep fire phase. Uh, yeah, I believe these forces here are all fired on that dude there. So we got a couple of pins. That's all we got. The 12 -1. We got a pin check. Let's take a look at that one more time. 12. Well, it should have been a normal morale check. My bad. Here we're rolling really high on the IFT. I'm not sure why I did that here. I instead of doing a non-assault move, shot um, uh, the DC charge and then went back. I stayed there. Yeah, still would have been not that favorable. Charlie just reminded me I didn't have my second cup of coffee. Now it's the defensive fire phase, and as you can see, the GDA is really lashing out. Um, the moment he expended movement factors to throw the DC charge, Mr. Levatis fired at him and broke him. Agirov opens up, and Agirov packs a good punch. You got there a 16 up 3 attack, so we break. We're firing back as well. So managed to break everybody, and Nikophoros by himself cannot uh, fend off or prevent a breach of that location. So the GDA forces are firing. I did a lost check and rolled on the hit table to make sure I can hit him in the next turn. It appears I can. Nearly broke my gun. Let's zoom out a bit. I'll make it a bit bigger. There we go. And center it. Let's keep moving forward. Now it's rout phase 4. The Hellenic army turn 1. They are able to rout at least. They don't see anybody on this side of the board. And everybody moved up to fend off, trying to fend off the axis attacks from Petrakis. We stepped into close combat with this unit here, tried to eliminate him. Great odds. And it looks like we had a double elimination, 4-1 and 1-4. And 1-4, let's take a look. And it was all hand to hand. I'm not too sure if I was able to declare hand to hand or not. I think I did by the scenario module special rule. So yeah, double elimination. There you go. Right here. Now I'm setting up some of the obstacles by random selection, more or less. And now it's GDA turn 2. And we're actually conducting prep fire, trying to eradicate those forces there. We did a good roll to MC, and I believe we wounded the leader, the hero. Big difference. Levitas is going after our lonely squad, and Petrakis is pressing the advance for the third and final victory objective. So this is how the board looks like now. A little bit of defensive fire, doesn't hurt, but he cowered. And now the gun is taking aim at our good friend Mr. Poulos there. I believe nearly broke the gun. Eliminated for failure to rout is the unit up here. Nikophoros is all by himself. As a single man counter, he cannot fend off a multi-man counter, and the multi-man counter can go in there and eliminate him. And these boys here route to there. So they ran away from Levatis, the big bad guy. That's advanced phase. Checking for concealment gain. Close combat there, and there's no ambush. 4-1, hand to hand, and we got him. And in return, he did not get us, or did not get the communist player. Loss is disabled due to, I believe he can see over that building, over this building, and then hit them there, but range 13. And ultimately, we're checking for concealment gain, rule for weather, rally, Pendelis, rallies, 7-0. I think 2 units rally here, so they kind of saved the day for a while. And the last unit loses his DM. Range 11, rolling on the 2-hit, rolling on the 2-hit red, -1 acquisition, 8 IFT, no rate, and we rolled a 6, and we managed to cause some damage to the infiltrators, and also activated a SAN. There was no SAN, and it looks like these boys incurred some damages. And then I tried to intensify, and there goes the gun. It's eliminated off to the side. Boink. And so far, as you can see, the casualties are mounting up for the allies, the non-communist player. Freedom fighters. Turn 2, prep fire for the Hellenic army. And Astakos manages to break 1 squad. But Mavrakis did nothing to Petrakis. Now we're moving up to meet this attack. And we're also retreating a bit because there's no point in trying to go after Levadis with all the firepower he has. So Petrakis returns the favor, and the favor is ineffective. Using the mole there. I don't think it was effective at all. The moles were not effective at all. And now we're into the rout phase, and Poulos has to retreat into cover. And once this unit was covered with a flame, I completely forgot about it. Happens to the best of us, and it even happens in real life play. You can forget about units that are not in the heat of the action and are covered by another counter. I think we're looking for a good prep fire opportunities. Turn 3. We're already into turn 3. That's pretty nifty. Now we eliminated and captured this location, but we have to check for blazes here and there. We decided to fire the whole stack at them. This guy CX'd and moved up. Now there's a firefight here going on between Mavrakis and Petrakis. A lot of ineffective fire, as you can see. We're in the advanced phase and checking for spread of flames. The whole thing is going up on fire. The way I was rolling for flames, I'm surprised the whole board didn't go in flames. I was just making sure that the loss was working. Wind direction. We did have some winds, but nothing spectacular. And we're Hellenic Army turn 3. Trying to rally some units. Firing. I guess it's the Mavrakis Astakos versus Petrakis. Whoa! 12. There goes everything. Broke the LMG. Cowardly. Ultimately, this guy scored a kill on the fellow trying to throw a demo charge at him. Defensive fire. I don't think this guy stands a chance. Anywhere. All he got was a pin result from the op fire. So the way the attack here unfolded was he was placed under op fire. The half squad would throw the demo charge, and then he would be forced to fire here first, and then probably fire second there. And the only thing that transpired was because Levatis was able to get a KIA on the half squad throwing the satchel charge. He was able to avoid a complete disaster. However, here are Stakos, Mr. Lobster, and Mavrakis, Blackie, were able to hold off Petrakis guy pretty well. They were doing advancing fire to check for flames. Keep forgetting that. And once that flame counter went on the MMG with that squad, the Fanatic squad, completely forgot about it. I was more concerned about how do I get my forces that are up there down to there. Forgot to move him, forgot to fire him. Let's go and start another log file. Okay, so I loaded log 2, and then I'm going to jump to log 4. It's already 30 minutes into the game, so you can see what's transpiring here is that ultimately this gun was lost because I tried to intensify it to there. So the crew started moving in this direction. In case this line fell, we could have at least someone here to stop Levidius from coming in from the rear. In the meantime, Mavrakis and Astakos are preventing a frontal assault from happening here. I had one squad advance to meet the partisans there and stop them from flanking this excellent fire group. Um, yeah, and in hindsight, Atstakos would probably have been better off here with the uh, hero being his buddy. Uh, but let's see what's going on. Let's see how things are going. Nothing, self-rally. So we still have only one good order unit here. And Levitas has split up, but still, you know, he comes up to this area here, and if they don't get him, he fires back at 20, up 1. These 527s are really something. As you can see, he's firing. So it's turn 4 for the GDA. And I cannot emphasize enough that Mavrakis and Astakos being up here, being able to form a little bit of a power fire group here, uh, thwarted and thwarted the frontal assault here and forced him to take a flanking move. So, trying to strip concealment here. Oh, here comes Commissar Agirov. And of course, if Commissar Agirov is going up into the attack, everybody else does. So look at that. Look at that. He's probably firing at 8 up 1, only managed to pin. Trying to do some maintenance there. Another 8 up 1 attack, and we cower. Why would we cower? It's not applicable in any case. We didn't cower. 8 up 1, building 11. That was a really bad roll. Here we are playing again with uh, the frontal assault. Got a pin there. I think we broke that. Yeah, finally broke that. These guys are probably at their wits' end at the moment. No, I think they ultimately had to route all the way down to there. Generally speaking, I was rolling a bit better with these units up here than I was with these units. And for the Hellenic army, these units here saved the day for as long as they could. But it was really ineffective up on the northern end of the board. Okay, so this is important. Let's sweep them. So here is turn 4 GDA. We're routing down here. As you recall from before, Pendelis was up here. He stalled Levitas, routed, he broke, route back to here, resuscitated himself, stalled Levitas again, but now Agirov, being a clever Russian spy, he came down this side of the board unimpeded, and most of the work was done by Poulos up here, the infiltration team. Yeah. And we got a bit of a close combat call there. No ambush. We're doing hand-to-hand, 3-2, -1 for ambush. I said there was no ambush. Oh, there was a -1. Yes, there was. There was an ambush because of his leadership of DRM. Okay. All right, here's a casualty reduction. So I guess here it was eliminated, and here there's a casualty reduction. Hand-to-hand melee. Concealment gains. Trying to rally. This Hellenic army turned 4. No dice. Morning, Mike. Trying to rally there. These guys didn't rally that easily. Let's take a look at the casualties here. Pedelas loses his DM. Now we're firing. And Astakos runs back because he sees a danger coming on the right flank. At least we got a crew here that will at least strip concealment and make him think twice about coming down the road. Maybe once or twice. Defensive fire. Mavrakis, being from Crete, is a real trooper. Close combat here. The partisan won? Okay, let's jump to the last log file now, okay? Okay, so we're back, and here's how it's going. Mavrakis was left all alone here by Astakos. This unit is advancing to try and take on these units here. Uh, Ultimately ended up with a half squad trying to attack the crew. Agirov is nearby. This guy here is on the verge of collapse, and Liviadis and Poulos are pressing the attack, and it's now turn 5. Yeah. So there's 2 more turns left. The Trakis has only 1 squad surviving the attacks of Mavrakis so far. And this location here is burning. All right. There's no rallies. Or is there? Let's see. Oh, 2 units rallied there. This guy's good. And we roll 2. We roll snakes and an Axis sand attack. We eliminated this dude. Right? Where's the sand? There. Okay. Let's see what happens. It's baby sand. And it looks like this crew here is closest to the sand. Boom. Pins that unit. Couldn't have happened to anybody else. We're moving, trying to meet the communist attack. Broke. It was this dude here firing the hex, containing his own unit. So he killed his own unit. I'm shocked, right? Why should I be shocked? Condolences up. He ultimately ELR'd a few turns ago. Now this is why I was saying the situation was becoming untenable. Now I'm facing a horde of communists. And Petrakis finally got his units up in good order. Yeah. So all of a sudden, all these broken units are no longer broken, and I am being surrounded here and being uh, pincered here. Another uh, Snake Eyes blew the heck out of a partisan squad. Um, Now we're doing final protective fire here. We're doing final protective fire. We managed to you know slow down this fellow tremendously, but in the meantime, now I have two broken squads there. It doesn't look good for routing. He's trying to fend off the attack as well. In a bit of advance fire. Now we're routing. Trackers was ultimately pinned, so he couldn't route that back. And I just went back to there. Keeps the DM on. Um, and Petrakis popped up. Petrakis did not was not pinned. I lied. Uh, so Petrakis didn't route back because he just wanted to press the attack with an existing squad against two broken squads and actually a broken leader as well. Agirov goes into close combat, and this is where the game ended. At this juncture, you have one turn left. We have all these units here and one unit there. Um, and we have a good leader there. Maybe I gave up too quickly. Maybe I gave up too quickly. I saw no point in continuing. But it looks like it's a close game. It looks like it's a very close game. No need for parity in this one. No need for parity whatsoever. Uh, had I pressed the attack, uh, there would have been at least a few units that could have made it into there to try and take him out of that location. Yeah. Hindsight has vision 2020. Anyway, that's my take on HazMo Scenario 14. I still haven't played it enough, um, but I think I need a break from Civil War. It's just too intense. But I would love to play it again with a live opponent because there's so many choices to be made here. Um, so it's not going to be the same game twice. Number one, and number two, it looks like they're evenly matched. Um, it looks like it can go either way. So with that said, I'm going to end the video here, and then I'm going to probably have a snack and do some housework and do some reading as well because we love reading. And perhaps next week I can show you some of the books on my reading list that I have in play. And what else? The other thing that's important to mention is that, again, uh, this past week the channel grew by a few more subscribers. So I thank all those that subscribed. I'm always thanking the fellows that were with me here on YouTube since the very beginning. Um, and also, so for next week, we got books recommended reading. I'm going to have uh, a rule analysis and perhaps another goodie. So stay tuned to the same Bat channel, and I'll see you next week. And a shout out to Burbs, George, youngest son Yanni, my eldest son Michael, and their friends for subscribing to the channel as well and watching all the entertainment. Take care. Bye.